Ayan na. Em cố gắng xíu nha. Cố gắng xíu nha con. Mụn nhiều lắm này. Đang cố gắng xíu nha. Nhớ xíu nè. Chủ nhà. Cục này bị viêm rồi con ạ. Như sao đây cho cô lấy cái má luôn, cái tóc mai mình đây nha. Nhớ về rửa mặt rửa kỹ chỗ này luôn nha con. Với lại con nhớ là con phải gội đầu xong rồi con hãy rửa mặt nhé. Nếu mà có gội đầu á con gội đầu xong rồi con hãy rửa mặt. Rửa thì rửa luôn cái vùng trong đây luôn, tại vì mụn rất là nhiều. Con bỏ mấy chỗ này là thường mình hay bỏ quên á. Đó, được bên này đó.
Tell me what to do with my property. I explained to her that the strip of land wasn't a public road, it was part of my property, and I had every right to restrict access. But Karen wasn't hearing any of it. She kept demanding that I open the gate, her voice rising with each word. "You'll regret this. You don't know who you're messing with," she said, taking out her phone and dialing something, likely to make her complaint known to the HOA. I wasn't sure what she thought she could accomplish with a phone call, but I wasn't about to entertain her tantrum. Then it happened. She actually called the police. It's not uncommon for HOA conflicts to escalate in bizarre ways. Some people feel that if they're on the HOA board, they're above the law or can somehow control the neighborhood's rules, even if it involves private property. That's exactly what Karen was trying to do. Use her HOA position to intimidate me into letting her use my land for free. From my research, I knew that the HOA couldn't control anything outside its neighborhood, and that included my property. So when the police arrived, I was confident they'd back me up. The officer who approached me was polite, but clearly confused about the situation. "We got a call about someone blocking a road," he said, looking at the gate I had put up. "Is this a public road?" "No, officer," I replied. "This is my property, and I put up the gate to stop people from using it as a shortcut. The person who called you, Karen, was trespassing on private property. She's trying to use it like a public road, but it's not." I showed him the property map I had obtained from the township to prove that the land was mine. I'd made sure the fence construction adhered to the property lines and everything was legal. The officer looked at the map and nodded. "Okay, I see. That's clear. This is private property. I'll go speak to the other officer." I could hear Karen arguing with the other officer, but I wasn't too concerned. The officer came back to me looking calm. "I'm sorry, but she's been misinformed," he said. "This isn't a public road, and you're within your rights to block access to it. I'm going to explain that to her." As he walked away, Karen was still shouting about how the HOA would come after me. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. The more she protested, the more ridiculous it sounded. In HOA conflicts like these, people often overestimate their authority. HOAs can impose rules within their community, but they have no jurisdiction over private property outside the neighborhood, especially when it comes to matters like trespassing. I knew that from the many cases I'd read about. People in similar situations had won court battles or simply forced the HOA to back off by standing their ground. I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief as the officers spoke to Karen. It was clear that they were on my side. Continued. Karen calls 911 because she can't use my land as a public road anymore. "Yeah, this happened. I bought this beautiful, quiet property a little over a year ago. Secluded, peaceful, exactly what I wanted. But what I didn't know was that a narrow strip of my land leads straight into an HOA neighborhood. It wasn't paved, just a clear path, but apparently clear enough for the neighbors to assume it was a public shortcut. At first, I saw 1 or 2 cars. Then 5. Then a dozen. They were just cutting through my land like it was nothing. No one asked. No one even looked guilty. They acted like I was the one in the wrong for standing on my own property. Then one day, a car spun its tires and tore up my yard. That was it. That was the last straw. I contacted the HOA, hoping they'd do something. Their answer: "Sorry, it's not our jurisdiction." So, I did what anyone would do. I put up a fence, built a strong gate, posted signs. My property, my rules. And then, the honking started. One Saturday, I come home to see this car parked at the gate. The woman steps out, angry, entitled, and already yelling. That's when I met Karen. Without saying hello, she barks, "You need to open this gate right now. I'm already late." Turns out she was on the HOA board, and believed she had the right to use my land. She actually said, "We've been using this for years." Cool story, Karen, still trespassing. I calmly told her, "This is my property. You're trespassing. You can't drive through here anymore." She wasn't having it. She started yelling louder, making threats. "You'll regret this. The HOA will take action." Then, she pulled out her phone and dialed 911. Yep. She called the cops. Tried to report me for blocking my own land. When the officers arrived, I explained everything, showed them my property map from the township. They looked at it, nodded, and said, "This is clearly private land. You're within your rights." Karen. She lost it. Argued with the officers. Claimed it was a community access point. But legally, she didn't have a leg to stand on. A week later, I get a letter from the HOA. They wanted a meeting to discuss my actions. So, I showed up ready, documents, photos, even security footage of Karen's meltdown. Karen was sitting at the head of the table like she owned the place. She ranted about how the shortcut saved time and I was ruining everything. I simply explained, "This isn't a shortcut. It's private property. I followed the law. The HOA has no control over land it doesn't own." The room went quiet. Some board members started whispering, asking, "Do we even have jurisdiction over that land?" One of them said, "Karen, maybe we should de-escalate." Karen slammed her hands on the table. This isn't over.